Well, welcome back to Bame Farm. Today we're having a fun adventure making patio tomatoes. Which the patio tomatoes are just a tomato plant in a big pot. We sell them, some here at the house, some to a little feed store. And instead of planting them in the ground, they're an early tomato that you leave by your back door. So we're mixing dirt right now. Dad is from the manure spreader with some aged wood chips and manure left over from last year's wood chip pile for bedding the cows. I mix some peat moss in, and then the black mulch you see going into the bucket right now, and it's all in the dump bed. But you can see we're using our brand new springs very nicely. It looks like the truck's handling the load very well, not leaning towards the passenger side like it used to. Well, now we're going to mix this up a little bit. Run it through the spreader once or twice, scoop it up, put it back in, then start filling up our pots. It's not a super fine mix. We're filling 4-gallon buckets, or we will be. So it's not like you're going to put this in small pots. This is definitely a big pot mix. Well, we've made it to the point of the first run through the spreader. Gonna kind of scoop it up into a pile, probably run it through again, because you can see some big globs. That real light brown is the peat moss. That didn't get mixed in well. All this light fluffy stuff, that's mostly peat moss. We gotta get that mixed in a little better. Of course, there's plenty of mulch and the aged chips and manure to go around. So we're just trying to get, I guess mostly get the peat moss mixed in. That'll be the big water holder because it's such small fibrous pieces. And manure is obviously nutrients. I guess the chips will hold some water, and if they're broken down well enough, they fill a lot of space just for the roots to go in between. And we'll probably make about 100 or so of these in a 4-gallon bucket, which we'll show that shortly. Now, thanks to the composting portion with the wood chips and the cow manure right there next to the barn, we got a few nice worms in it, which that'll help with plant health. They'll be in there and in the pots, still helping to break down more of the material for the tomatoes to grow in. And everybody loves worm compost for nutrients, so they'll be adding nutrients. You get a tomato, you get some worms. You can go fishing. There you go. See, protein in tomatoes. Not quite a BLT, but I'm sure it'll work out well. Now comes the really fun part. We got to drill holes in these buckets, just to have some drainage so they don't hold the water and drown the poor tomato plants. So got our lovely super long wood drilling bit. Yeah, that's good for about say 18 inches. Handy dandy drill. Just find a spot and start through. Now I have it set to go really fast. It could be a little wobbly, so I gotta watch after I make that first hole to kind of readjust my alignment. And it goes in just that easy. Once you get the first hole, the next one will keep you in line going down the row of buckets. Now this will drill oh, say 7 or 8 buckets at a time. Yeah, we're all the way in. The biggest thing is making sure the buckets don't spread apart. So you need something to hold the whole line of them. And if we quick pull them off here. Well, that one didn't get any holes, but that one did. Voila, 3 drainage holes. That one doesn't have any. You know, we covered, well, a whopping 5 buckets. But it's better than doing it one at a time with a shorter drill bit. Well, our pile is dwindling. There's still quite a bit, at least half what we started with. And we're taking the buckets up with the bucket loader, save the carrying, and take them up that way to the greenhouse. Then we still got to carry them in the greenhouse. It looks like we can only get 28 on the bucket. It'd be nice if we got 30. So, see you up at the greenhouse with the buckets and see how Mom's doing getting these planted. How's tomato planting going?
Good. Aren't they beautiful?
Yes. Oh, the green plant and the dark soil and a white pot. So what variety are we planting?
Big beef.
Yeah, we used to plant a bushier instead of a vining tomato. Then everybody decided they wanted to have their cake and eat it too, to have early tomatoes and have them bigger. So we're trying a little larger variety, and hopefully they don't go too crazy and need lots of tying to a stake. Which that's what the tobacco stakes will be for eventually. The journey of the tomato from the cell pack to the pot.
2 plants per pot.
Yep. 1 and 2. There's 60 of the white buckets, and I made, say, 20 more black 3-gallon pots. We'll probably have to make more, but we're getting a little tight on room. Greenhouse is filling up. A few things are blooming, like the New Guinea impatiens. Geraniums still have a while. Lots of baskets hanging. And there's a few spaces there on the racks. Yep, the marigolds are blooming. There's some more empty space. Even more impatiens blooming, which actually they're kind of early this year. And if we come down to the cold end, kind of the wall divides it off. But the heater's there in the middle to keep that end warmer, and this is the zone before things go outside, but it's still kind of chilly. We got all the perennials over here. Most of these were just transplanted up again in the last week. They go from the little starter plugs to the cell packs into the pots. Mostly to save heating space so we can keep everything in that 2/3 of the greenhouse. Now over here we have cabbage, broccoli, herbs, wave petunias, and a few other early things like the snapdragons and the sweet william. They like it cool. And yet again, man, snapdragons are trying to bloom, but they're having issues, and it's been a few years since we've had snapdragons really take off. I don't know what it is, if it's the variety we picked, but hopefully you can kind of see that these are a little wavy. They're not very even. Kind of wrap up this greenhouse day and the patio tomatoes by taking a look at what's going on out here in the germ room. Lots of stuff. Holy cow. The vining black-eyed Susans have gone crazy. In fact, I think these things are almost a month ahead, because these are going to be a vining mess. A beautiful mess, we'll say. by the time Mother's Day rolls around. Mother's Day is kind of the big, you gotta have flowers by then. Unfortunately, we've got peppers that look tough. Those need to be transplanted. Tomatoes, more tomatoes. Lots of tomatoes and peppers that needs to be transplanted. I think the peppers might have gotten aphids because it smells kind of like a bug killer out here. Oh, and some purple cabbage, and maybe a few flowers left. And another fun thing while we're out here, which, oh man, the bananas. I don't see any yellow ones, but you can see we've picked off a handful of bananas. Now these guys, compared to the size of my finger, they're not giant bananas. They're a very sweet, small banana. And they kind of have a core to them, but it's just, kind of something different to have around. I don't know if these little guys will do much. I think we're going to probably end up only getting, the bananas from there up. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 good bunches. Plus the orange trees down there. So yeah, things are growing fast. Things are starting to bloom. It's always a busy time in the greenhouse. So, we'll see you guys later. And stay warm, because unfortunately for spring, it's a little chilly outside. Only, 50s or so. We may not hit 70 here for another week or so, or at least come close. We'll see you later.